welcome back to another episode of the Fresh Five. I'm your host, Tommy Fresh, and this is the show where I talk about 5 things, flesh and blood, in 5 or so minutes. Well, just because I want to. This week, I want to talk a little bit about our boy Starvo. Starvo is looking to be the deck to beat right now, especially after the Battle Hardened in Philadelphia this weekend. There were 5 Starvos in the top 8, and 1 did win. Now, this week, I want to talk about 5 heroes that can beat Starvo, or at least hopefully. And we're going to look at why, and hopefully, we start building those decks and, get it going. So, we got to beat the boogeyman in the meta, as it were. Anyway, number 1. I think Icelexi is a great deck to try and beat Starvo. The Starvo deck wants all of its cards in hand at the beginning of the turn so they can reveal and kind of go aggro. This is not like your typical Guardian deck. So, threatening on-hit effects and playing Winter's Bites and, giving them Frostbites is going to be a big edge to kind of get Starvo on its back foot, which I think is when Starvo is at its weakest. And hopefully Icelexi can do that. We've seen Icelexi do some serious work against Briar when that was the deck. Now we will see if Icelexi can come in, save the day again against Starvo. Now, another deck, just like in the Briar meta, that I think can shake up Starvo is Ice Oldhim. The Ice React is excellent against Starvo, and I think that with this kind of similar tools to Icelexi, we will see a very strong contender in terms of kind of putting a damper on all the aggressive things that Starvo is trying to do. Number 3 is our old friend Chain. Now, Daniel Rakowski actually beat 2 Starvos and lost to a third in the top 8 of Philadelphia Battle Hardened. So Chain has proven itself once again. Ever since Chain has been out, Chain has been super powerful. And even with the bans, we are still seeing Chain go off. Now, that is good news. I think Chain being a good deck is still healthy for the meta. And there were 2 Chains in the top 8 of Philadelphia. So we will see if Chain can kind of continue that trend. Very powerful deck, Runeblaze in general. I was going to mention Viserai, but I actually think Viserai has a worse matchup against Starvo unless it's OTK. But we're not even going to mention. Well, I already did. I mentioned Viserai, but it's not on the list. Because number 4 is Prism. Prism, not a big fan of Prism, but Prism kind of handles Guardian pretty well. Arclight Sentinel seems to be a card that can really take care of Bravo's reveal turns. Their fused Oaken Olds or even Crippling Crush coming in really puts a damper on their whole plan. I like Prism against Starvo. However, the problem with Prism is weak to the Viserais and the Chains and the Briars of the world. So we will see. Some people will say that Prism has a better matchup against Chain, but I think that's the old Chain. This new Chain seems to be a little more resilient. And number 5 is Kano. So I think that Kano could be a real contender right now because I don't think a lot of people are running maximum Arcane Barrier in their decks and sideboards. So that being said, I think that Kano can trade off damage against Starvo at an equal rate, kind of like what we saw when Pietro won the Italian Nationals with Kano. He realized that he can just trade off more damage at a faster rate, and I think we could see that with Starvo. I'll be interested to see if any of these Proquests we see some Kanos spiking some tournaments. So those are some decks that I think will hopefully attack Starvo quite a bit. And I think Starvo has a huge target on his back right now. So I feel like a lot of people will be brewing to kind of attack Starvo rather than just run the best deck in the meta. But we'll see. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. But until next time, this has been the Fresh Five. Please listen to the podcast. Subscribe, like, comment, all those things. Join the Discord. It's a lot of fun over there. Everything's in the link tree below. And yeah, everybody, have a good night.